We will call the first official meeting of the ARPA committee. Why don't we start off with introducing ourselves, go around the room, and let everyone know why you volunteered for this fantastic opportunity. Dan?
Sure. Dan Pica, current chairman of the finance committee in town. My career's in banking. I work for South Shore Bank, so I thought between what's going on with finance committee, having previously served as liaison to the capital committee, and then background in banking, that I could hopefully add some value.
My name's Gigi Hurley. This is my first time being involved in town government, so
Welcome.
I'm super excited, but need some guidance for sure. My career is in accounting. I am a trust administrator, accountant, tax person for a private firm in Boston. So happy to be here.
Thank you.
I'm Ken Reale. I am retired, and I spent 44 years in manufacturing. I have a wide range of interest and background in running a small punch press company, budgets, the accounting function, bookkeeping, inventory control, you name it, top to bottom. I just like to get involved.
Thank you. You could also mention the community garden.
I'm involved in the community garden. I was involved in soccer, a lot of things.
Danny O'Leary, also my first foray into the public service area. I also was just elected constable and took my oath this morning for Constable of East Bridgewater. I worked for Blue Cross, and I was really just looking for a way to kind of get more involved in the town and see what we can do. And my neighbor said, "Hey, they have this ARPA committee. You should check it out." And I checked it out, and I thought, this could be a good fit. So I figured I'd try my hand at it.
Right. Oh,
I'm Paula Wolf. I'm the Director of Assessing. I'm a consultant on this committee, non-voting. I live in Plymouth. I guess just as part of the finance team in town with Melanie, who will be here also. She's the accountant. We'll just have hopefully a helpful part in guiding and answering questions and suggestions and things like that.
I thought this was the AARP.
that's, we were gonna have that, but it's too late. They have to be done by 5.
Oh, okay. So I'm Dave Walsh. Been involved with town government for like 22, 24 years. Former selectman, member of the finance committee, former chairman of the finance committee, liaison to the capital committee, and I just like to be involved and help out where I can. So.
That's what we need. Mr. Margie?
John Margie. Been involved in activities across the town since 1983 with my kids in soccer, Little League, baseball, basketball. Moving up through that, and sometime in the early 90s, I got on the FinCom and did 16 years on the FinCom. I was a member of the Board of Selectmen for a couple of years. I was on the Patriotic Activities Committee, Cub Scouts stuff. I think I mentioned that already. So I've been active in the town, kind of got a somewhat of an idea of how it runs, though I haven't done anything for the last 4 or 5 years. Kind of enjoyed that time, to be honest with you. But this came up. I thought it'd be a good opportunity. My business background, I worked for the phone company for 26 years, retired from there, and then I worked for Fidelity for 16 years. Retired from there. I was vice president, and did a lot of finance work as part of my work there. Though my real job was information security. I was the Chief Information Security Officer for one of the large groups of Fidelity companies. So, done a lot of finance and business work, been involved in a lot of different things, and still not smart enough to stay home.
Thank you, John. Nadia?
Hi, my name is Nadia Clancy. I'm a resident here since 2007. I have 4 children. I'm a realtor. I'm a small business owner. My husband is a lawyer. He does mostly criminal defense and general practice. I run his practice. I also, like I said, I'm a realtor. I've been licensed since 2004. I'm very active in the community. I just founded a new community engagement nonprofit in regards to getting our community more welcoming for people that come into our town. So it's called Community Coaching for Change Incorporated, and that was established last year. We're having our big event this weekend. I wanted to join this committee because I wanted to know the process of where our money's going for the town and how to better serve the residents in this town. So I wanted to get some insight in regards to how you guys go about deciding who gets what and how does it get, funneled and whatnot. So I'm very interested in regards to where our dollars are being spent.
Thank you.
And thank you.
And if you don't know, I'm Dave Sheedy. I am on the Board of Selectmen for a couple of thousand years, or give or take. And I think most people know the ARPA was funded through the federal government, and it came down to the local cities and towns, and we have around $4 million that has been allocated to the town of East Bridgewater. The committee was set up because we wanted exactly what we have here now. We want people that have been through the town government. We want people that are interested in how this whole process is going to work. And again, because just bear with us, this is going to be a fantastic thing for the town of East Bridgewater. But if you've been involved in town government before, you're not just gonna fly by. We have plenty of time to spend this money. Every department and organizations in the town will have a capability of requesting funds for what they feel is important. I think, again, this is a one-time. It is not something that the federal government, the state, or Plymouth County, who is going to oversee this process, they don't want something allocated today that's going to, from here on in, be a part of the future budgets. The money that we're getting from ARPA should be used for this, and that should be, possible case at the end of it. Because what they don't want to do is give us money and then down the road say, now we have to increase our budget every year to cover the cost of what we just did. So that's something that you have to keep in mind when the requests come in from the various departments and organizations that come in. Charlie, do you have anything you want to add to that?
No, I can go over a couple things. We're getting our money from two streams. As you mentioned, Plymouth County is holding some of our money. We need to apply to them. And it's thankfully not a reimbursement process. We can, in essence, say, we've got this project, and we describe the project, how it fits within the criteria for ARPA, and then we can apply and then find out from them whether it's a qualified project or not. And that's where most of our money is. We're going to be getting about 1.6 ourselves. We've got about half of that already last summer. We should be getting, in the next month or two, the other 800,000 or so. The rest of the money, which is about 2.7, is sitting with Plymouth. So we are applying for reimbursement for the sanitary sewer project. That's one of the that's a project that's clearly qualified under ARPA. Also, the ambulance. Again, you're dealing with health issues. It's clearly qualified. But so the other money is sitting with us now, or will be. So there be two types, not two application processes, but internally, once we do get applications in, we'll need to figure out how that project might sit within the qualifications for ARPA. As David mentioned, we have plenty of time to make decisions. We have to allocate the money no later than December of 2024. So we've got more than 2 years right now. We have to spend the money by December of 2026. So for instance, we could do a project that doesn't have to be done in a week or a month or a year. It might be extended. But obviously, as David mentioned, at some point it ends. We don't have the money anymore. We're not going to see this money again. So whether it's a project that, in essence, helps the community get out of the pandemic, in the sense of are areas where we fell short or people were hurt by the pandemic, but we'll help them recover, get them to that point, but then we can't continue the program. Or capital expenditures that will help revitalize our town. I don't mean that our town was in the dumps versus any other. Everybody's getting this money, but to try and help on a long-term basis, East Bridgewater, rather than buy a pack of pencils, for instance, which technically would be a legal use of some of the money, but we buy pencils every year, we don't need to buy more pencils.
What is the reasoning for separating it to by county and state?
The Fed's reason it basically because much of the nation is by county government rather than municipal government. New England and a couple of other places, the local government tends to be by city or town. Unfortunately, in a sense for us, Plymouth County is still active. Many places in Massachusetts don't have active county governments at this point. So the money went directly to those communities. Unfortunately, in my mind, Plymouth is still active, so the federal government recognized that fact and said, if you've got an active county government, then much of that money is gonna go to the county and be allocated by the county.
And they've already decided that we're gonna get, what'd you say, 2.7 million?
Right, so the formula that they devised said that there will be money going directly to the cities and towns. For instance, some money went directly to the state for state purposes. And so what they did was, the Fed said, okay, we're gonna give this money to the state, we're gonna give this money to the counties, and we're gonna give this money to the cities and towns. Counties in other places might not be allocating it by community because in many places they're not organized as such like we are. So the county will not be giving it to East Podunk because East Podunk isn't ready to deal with money. They're gonna just, all the money will stay with the county. Plymouth, on the other hand, as much as it's an active county, has a very small government. They're not involved in a lot of government affairs. Municipalities handle it. So what they'll do is allocate the money on that basis. But the Feds tiered it based on how they saw fit to do so. So, the money was given out based to the states, based on population or other criteria and so forth through the counties and then the cities and towns.
So, I mean, not to hold you or anything, but to ask the question that comes to my mind is how is our relationship with Plymouth County, and do we anticipate any roadblocks or anything?
I would hope not. They were very good overall. They took a long time. We're still in fact waiting for the last payment from the CARES Act money, which is the previous fund, though we're hoping to get that by the end of this month.
But with the CARES Act, they were in charge of A-okaying how much we got.
Well,
They're not really in this, right?
Well, they're right, but this is the problem for us, is that they've said, okay, we're gonna allocate this pot of money, the money that they're getting, we should get about 2.7. Legally, they're not required to do that. So if cities and towns don't, at some point, go to them and say, we need money for X, Y, and Z, they can reallocate that money to other cities and towns that are ready to go. I don't mean that we're going to lose our money next week, but they've taken the larger pot, which is like over $100 million, and said, I'm making the numbers up here. Let's say $30 million is we were going to allocate right now to the 27 cities and towns, excepting Brockton and Plymouth because they're getting direct allocations because they have over 50,000 people. So we know that some of the money has been sort of earmarked for East Bridgewater, just like it has been for West Bridgewater or Bridgewater or Hanson. At some point, they're going to look at it and say, how, should we divvy up the second pot of money the same way on the basis of population? But one of the things they'll be looking at is, are cities and towns applying for the money for the first pot?
Okay.
So it doesn't mean that like I said, we're not gonna lose the money next week or anything like that. But we also need to be ready to make those applications. I think David and Peter have talked, and Carol have talked about, in fact, having the county commissioners come in along with Tom O'Brien the county treasurer to talk about the process of how they're going to be allocating the money, how they're gonna be reviewing the applications and such.
That would be great.
I had a conversation with Jared the other day, and as soon as this committee determines when their next meeting will be, we'll try and get the county commissioners and possibly the treasurer here, so they can tell us exactly what they expect. Again, reiterating what Charlie said, we had a great relationship with them during the CARES Act. We sent it down, they didn't approve everything, but they approved most of it. Again, we're just waiting for our last payment, and maybe that's what we'll have to hang over their head to come to the next meeting. I'm not letting you in unless you bring a check with you.
Well, that should
but
get them here.
the relationship we had with Plymouth County Treasurer and Commissioners for the CARES Act was fantastic.
Okay.
They were good. They, if they were refusing something, or, again, we had a chance to go back and change it and maybe get it the second. There were things that we tried for, we just couldn't get covered, but they're very honest about it, and that I have no qualms that they're gonna do us fine in the allocation.
Okay,
But we'll think positive along that way.
thank you.
We should, at this point, you people, will have to create an organization. We will need, I believe, for this committee, we'll need a chair, a vice chair, a treasurer, and a secretary. In those minutes, even though we will be televised, the minutes will be very, very important, because this is something that the county commissioners may be looking at also, not positive of that, but, so for the future, so. I don't know if you people want to do nominations. If someone wants to volunteer to be each of these positions, that would make life easier, since you really don't know that much about each other. Okay, who's the first, who do we have for a volunteer for the chair?
We're an advisor, right, so we can't do anything.
No,
Oh, no one else wants it.
Mr. Maggi. Anyone have a challenge on that? Good. Okay, a co-chair. Again, this would be the individual, if Mr. Maggi is not here, would be conducting the meetings and following the process.
I'm happy to either be vice chair or secretary. I know that's not a popular one that people want either, so.
All right, Dan, you good secretary.
I know that, yeah, I've already started, so.
I said, I saw it moving, so I knew he was all set. Okay, so we need a vice chair or a co-chair, whatever you want to call
I'll do
someone.
it.
Okay, Nadia. And treasurer, which will be, you people will again have to be keeping records of the votes that you take to allocate this money to whatever the departments or organizations request. Keep it in mind that these requests will come down through the Board of Selectmen, and that will be the final approval. But that would also be based on recommendations from you people, and you'll be doing a lot of interviewing with people. Very important if you don't understand, because it's something brand new to you and what they're asking for. Just the chair, I'm sure, will make sure they go into detail so you understand exactly what you're voting for, and feel free to, if there's a question about it, you can go to Charlie or the board if you still have a question, but not every request is going to be honored. It's not gonna fall into that criteria. And again, the consultants will be very, very important here, because they all have the experience. You know, we have the assessor, the accountant, and we have Dave, who's been through all this before. So it's very important to use them too. They're not voting, but they can certainly lead you while you're going through this process. Treasurer.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot?
I think we have to do a rock, paper, scissors, shoot. I mean, unless you want to take it.
No,
I mean,
no thank you.
Gigi, did
I'll
you
take it.
volunteer? I thought
I'll
you
take
did,
it.
thank you.
these guys have finance background.
Save the rocks for later on. You'll get those when you deny a request. Okay, so that is all set. Mr. Secretary, you have that?
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, the review of the APRA application, it's included in your packages. And that is This is the one for the department heads, to send to the ARPA committee. Copies will go to the board so we know what's going on. They will be receiving that sometime this week. We'll send that out, and we'll, Charlie, you plan on having a department head meeting too?
Not, I mean, it'll be part of the discussion in a couple of weeks as part of the regular department head meeting.
Okay.
Not a special one.
Okay. All right, so it will be introduced to them. Again, if you're looking at especially the funding categories, supporting public health, address COVID-19, for anything that these departments may have lost, may catch up on, same with organizations out there. You may have individual businesses out there. Premium pay for essential workers may come in. Invested in water, sewer, and broadband infrastructure, we've already talked, some of this will probably be allocated to the sewage district, and something totally outside of here, which we may see quite a bit from different departments. But again, we can't foresee that yet. All department heads are well aware that this process is going on. We waited get the committee together until after we had the elections to make sure everyone was still sitting in their position, so.
There'd be a separate application for organizations?
Yes.
Yes,
Um,
okay.
Charlie is working on that now, and I guess that will be available for the next meeting.
Okay.
And then we'll, again, try and figure out exactly how to get that information out to all the organizations in town that may be looking for some help under this program. Mr. Chairman, at this time, probably want to try and find out, is this the convenient time for meetings? Obviously, we are missing 4 people. We knew one of them, but we will get a hold of the rest of them and find out. But we'll do that from the office. What is a good time for people? Is 6 o'clock on Tuesday the best time for everybody?
General works.
I mean, is 6 o'clock good, 5:30 good? We don't want it any later because John has to be in bed by 7:30.
Earlier the better. That's 1 in the afternoon. I'd prefer Wednesday over Tuesday. I don't know if it,
Wednesday works for me too. I just probably couldn't do Monday or Thursday are the only 2 conflicts that I have in my schedule.
Probably do Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, for me, same Monday or Tuesday.
Monday's tough because you're probably not gonna get the room. Because we've got planning board's usually here.
Meetings meet on Monday.
Pardon?
Selectmen meet many times on Monday.
Right.
Finance, Board of Health, Concom.
Yeah, so Mondays are out.
Sounds like Tuesday might be the better day.
Tuesday or Wednesday's fine with me.
That one's fine.
Looks like Tuesday has it.
Tuesday's it, I guess.
Tuesday at 6?
Tuesday.
It's 6 o'clock good? Anyone want 5:30? Is that too early? I know you
It's
want
nice when you don't
noontime.
work,
You
you
want
know?
noontime.
I'm not, no, I need to finish my golf game at 1 o'clock.
Well, you'll have to start your golf game earlier then, because this is more important.
This is
Because your
18.
golf game's probably not getting any better.
I'm here at 6 PM anyway, Dave, so.
Okay.
Will this be on an as-needed basis? I mean, if you don't have any applications and there's nothing going on, you're not gonna just meet
That's
to-
the next thing. No, I think once we get this out, the next meeting, I would put like 3 weeks from now, to get this out to the department heads, and then we'll go from there. And after we see what we get for that first meeting, then you'll do your time after that. And should it be every other week, every
That
third
will
week?
allow us all to go through the final training.
Right, there is a training webinar on, I believe it's June 13th. When is it?
15.
June 15th. You have to go on, I think you received information, you have to go on and register for it.
The Massachusetts Inspector General is running that workshop, so you have to go online and register for it, but it's free.
And I think it's June 15th, and I think it's at 1 o'clock.
I tried
10
to
o'clock
register
or
for
10
it,
o'clock?
they were
10:30, yeah.
charging.
They would charge you?
Yeah, I gave up, because it got all complicated and.
There's a way around it.
That
It looked
second
like
week-
they charged. There was,
Yeah.
I forget now what you
I
have to do,
attended the
but,
last one and it was free.
It's free, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
had no
checkbox
problem
or
with
It's a
it.
something.
checkbox you gotta click on.
Yeah,
to
it was
say-
confusing.
And then they didn't confirm it when you did do it, because you have to call them to make sure they register, the website is not, doesn't,
It's
Doesn't
10
work
to
at all.
11:30.
Okay.
so.
And again, if you have any questions about that, give the office a call. Either Charlie or Rebecca will be able to get you through it.
Charlie, the second link you sent me worked fine. So,
It was very informative.
Good.
Charlie, can you let me or us know when that department head meeting is that you're gonna bring this up?
Sure, I think it's gonna be, it'll be the week of the 20th. It's usually first thing in the morning. But I'll get it, the information.
All right.
Thank you.
And you probably don't want to have a meeting until after, the week after that, to give
Right.
department heads a chance.
John, would it be helpful if, I mean, I have everyone's email address so that I can send out minutes and things like that, but also, since we're coming up in the summer, would it be helpful to know when and people might be on vacation to
Yeah.
make sure we have a quorum?
Good-
You said it
good
was
idea.
5, Dave, we have to have as a quorum?
You have to have 5, yes.
Okay. So I'll include that with the minutes when I send it out.
I have June 23rd, it's a Thursday.
You know, that sounds right.
And what we'll do is we'll pass the paper around, get your name and the email address that you want to be notified on.
I think Rebecca sent,
Rebecca should have
I
everything.
think we were all on the email
Yes.
that Rebecca
Yeah, I
sent
got
out,
the
yeah.
one from Rebecca.
Okay, I didn't get that.
Yeah, I have that.
Okay. All right, so if you get it to Rebecca, we'll send you everything, and like I said, they're meeting on the 20th, so
I think we just heard the 23rd is the meeting.
23rd is a Thursday, so it'd have to be the week of the following week, if you want it to be after.
is it the 23rd, Charlie? That's when your department head on a Thursday
I
morning?
need to check. The 20th is Monday, the 21st would be, 23rd would be Thursday.
Yeah, Rebecca sent out we have it scheduled.
Oh, okay, so you might want to, again, meet that following Tuesday, which is the 28th, just to see where we
I'll be on
are.
vacation that week, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think those 2 weeks are gonna be
So
tough.
the secretary's
because-
already starting,
Well, that's
Before and after
week
4th
before
of
and
July.
after 4th of
Yeah.
July.
okay?
Maybe after the 4th, but I'm away after that.
Why don't we move it to the 12th of July then?
Sounds like a plan, Stan.
Okay, the day before I leave, so.
It's gonna be tough during the summer.
It is, but
Yeah,
even if we can get a little bit going, you know, we may not even, there may be enough information to forward out and not have to meet in person, just have people sit there and review what they have, any questions, they can come back, and then, you know, toward the middle of August, you know, the end of August, when kids go back to school and everything, at that point, you can start moving on a, again, the thing is, we don't have a gun to our head on this one. You know, we want to give department heads time, we want to give the board time, you know, you people, you know, all the time that you need to find out exactly what they're asking for.
And with this notice, do you think we can get Plymouth County here for the 12th?
Yes. I will talk to them and threaten them. I don't know how I can do that, but send the police down or something. Yeah, that's giving them plenty of time. I mean, there's 3 commissioners and a treasurer, one of them should be able to make it. Does anyone have any questions? Mr. Chairman, it's your meeting from now on.
okay. Does anybody have any questions? Any thoughts? Any misgivings?
Again, the board appreciates everyone that applied to come on this committee, and everyone did apply as either on the committee or as a consultant. And it's a lot of work. I think we said it's a 2 or 3 year commitment. And it's just great for the town. As Charlie said, we're never gonna see this again, so we have to make sure what we do this time, it's done correct. And don't let the chairman bully you or stuff like that into just voting because he's the chair. Just
It doesn't
figured
look so tough.
I'd get that in now. That was,
20 years in the Marines too, I didn't tell you.
Okay, maybe it is a little tough.
don't hold that against him.
Well, you know right away, I'm not the brightest person in the room.
Glad you said that. All
I
right,
always thought it, so.
anything else?
I mean, we're gonna get these applications from the department heads. And they're gonna come to a meeting or a series of meetings.
Correct.
We'll all review them together.
It'll be almost just like the finance committee meets. It'll be that process. They come and explain why. And the same as capital, they'll explain why.
So that's kind of the road I was going down. Would we want to assign people to a different department? So do you want to just see what happens on the 12th and
That
go
would
from
be up to
there?
you, and let's see where it's coming in, because I don't believe you'll see all departments involved in this.
Right.
Like, that's why we have the assessor and the accountant here, because they've said they wouldn't be involved in that, so, you know, and it may be you put two people there, you may have individual things depending on, let's see what happens, then you can control that from there, the board, the committee itself.
Sounds good.
I mean, this is a committee that is, we want to spend money. This
Absolutely.
isn't, we can't, we don't want to, we gotta save it. No.
We have to spend the
We
$4
have to
million.
spend it.
Use it or
We
lose it.
want, there's a lot of money.
See,
It's a lot of money, so
and-
there's a
and
lot of things that we
looking
can
back
do.
to the CARES Act, the town had absolutely no problem spending that money. A lot of towns around Plymouth County, because Plymouth County they did not.
Right.
And that left more money for other towns like us. We spent more money than was originally allocated, because some towns didn't spend all of theirs. That can happen here also. We'll see what happens.
But regardless, we still, if I understand correctly, we have to have it all allocated out and assigned by December of
December of
2024.
2024,
Mhm.
yes.
So 2.5 years, okay.
Just to clarify my mind, this is geared and aimed at town projects,
Correct.
not private enterprise.
Well,
Organizations in the
yeah,
town,
I mean,
for the good of the town, right?
right, and it's not just nonprofits in the sense of if the money, you know, I provide some links, and, you know, to the basic categories. There's one, as David mentioned, where if we had a loss in revenue, pretty much anything goes, but we'll put that aside for the moment. But the primary places to spend money, one of them is to help private businesses, private individuals, in a sense of, if we have communities or business, or groups of businesses or businesses in general that were hurt by the pandemic, and they need assistance to get back on their feet. You know, I was talking about revitalizing Bridgewater, East Bridgewater on a one-time basis. That's an allowable expense. But you'd have, you know, the businesses and the organizations need to come to you all and provide a program that will do that and show where the deficiencies have occurred. And how the money that would be spent would help correct those problems. You know,
Well, my next question after that then, thank you, is how do we advertise this to private enterprise?
well, I think once I don't want to try, I mean, I don't want the board to authorize me to start publicizing it until we have an application form available. And Rebecca and I are working on, which is going to be a little bit different than the one for the departments, because that's somewhat straightforward, it's all internal. Where we're dealing with external organizations, I think we're going to be looking for different types of information.
Okay,
You wanna put out a very clear message that this isn't, oh, you know, I lost all the people that worked for me and now I want $50,000 to be able to fix this or whatever. I think we need to learn more
Right. Yeah.
and maybe see some examples before you advertise,
Mhm.
just so that we don't get a lot of wasted time going through saying no. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Which obviously we all know, but that's why those, I wish we had instead of going and watching that video or whatever it is, you know, just maybe a clear, concise
Mhm.
notebook
Well, I think
that we all
again,
have, that we,
some guidance.
Reference
And I think that's
manual.
another reason, you know, I think maybe, you know, if your meeting on the 12th is maybe, you know, that's certainly a month and a half away, is I invite the commissioners and Tom O'Brien, and I mean, it's gonna be later than getting the check.
Right.
But we could bring them in for the meeting on the 12th, and they could,
And
for
we
that.
can ask questions.
Right, yeah.
And they may have something that's new to them too. And again, it's going to be one of the things we found when we were doing the CARES Act. Some things are just not going to be there because no one ever thought of them. It's something brand new, especially pandemic-wise. That whole thing was brand new to everyone. But there will be something, I'm sure, that will give us generalizations coming out of Plymouth County for at least their portion of it.
In other towns, I've heard of other towns that have already started spending, they don't,
They
some
have.
towns didn't set, well, a lot of towns didn't set up committees, they're just, okay,
They're just writing out checks because they
Selected.
want to get it done.
yeah.
We didn't go that way.
And the commissioners may, and Tom may have seen already examples that other communities have submitted for using county money in those areas that we just talked about, so you can get a better grip on what examples that would qualify, what won't qualify.
Again, it's a long road. We don't have the answers, but hopefully they'll come about.
Whether we like them or not.
Anything else?
Entertain a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Second by Ken. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, and any information you need, you can call the office, call the board.
Absolutely.
We may not have them, but we'll do the best we can to get these answers out as they come in. Secretary will be getting those out as they come in, so everyone knows what the questions are. Thank you, Dan,
Thank you.
appreciate it.